Since starting university, I have noticed a change in my confidence and been recording this using reflections on the chart. This video will show where I found key aspects of my learning that have affected my confidence. Week 10 was my very first week, and considering all the anxieties of starting a new path in my life, I felt pretty confident and ready to learn. I represented this as number 6, which is just over halfway. I believe that my confidence came from knowing that I wasn't alone in this situation and that everyone in the class was trying to make friends. This confidence didn't last, however, and the following week it dips to 5. This is due to missing my family and realising the amount of work that still needed to be done to achieve. However, I wrote in my reflections I was enjoying and understanding the subject. I believe that this is due to the tutors who are using Vygotsky's theory of scaffolding to help my learning. During week 12 and 13, my confidence starts to increase. Social constructionists believe that we learn well when working with others, and this shows true during these weeks. I have gained new friends who are helping me with my work. Week 13 is the highest of all the weeks, and this is because this was our reading week and I was able to go home and spend time with my family. I was able to do my reading and catch up. This was also the first week where I had slept properly and I gave myself an 8. This week links to Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs, where a person must meet the needs of one stage to be able to move on to the next stage. This relates to my learning and my confidence, because by being at home I was able to meet these needs, making it easier for me to learn and complete the work I needed to. I went back to university feeling in control. Between the weeks of 14 and 16, my confidence was on a steady up and down. Then week 14, I remember having a migraine. It stopped me from being able to concentrate. I knew I should have gone home to bed and caught up, but I'm so stubborn I went in anyway. This led to me not really being able to take in much information or being able to process it. After I'd finally understood what was being taught, the next week I had more confidence to learn. I was on target with my assignments and planning, and I was starting to believe I could do well. However, I didn't mark myself a high number on the chart, as deep down I knew I had a lot of work I needed to do to achieve. The second highest weeks for confidence was week 17, where I gave myself a 7 out of 10. We handed in our assignments and I personally felt a massive weight had been lifted. You could also notice in the class too, as before the atmosphere had been tense. In week 17, however, my group of friends started to relax and it felt much more comfortable. The lesson itself, however, I felt I had already learnt in college, and this was starting to annoy me, but like Broth and Brenda talked about in Spiral Equilibriums, I knew there were aspects I wouldn't know and my learning would develop deeper if I gave the lesson a chance. Surprisingly, my confidence fell quite low at the end. Week 20 was the last week of the semester and my confidence dropped to the lowest it had been before. This was for many reasons. One of the reasons was the group of friends I had been working with started to not show up, and I realised this affected me because they act as my more knowledgeable other, and I thought if they weren't there then I wouldn't be able to do well, but now I can see this isn't true. Another reason I wrote was about waiting for my assignment results, and it seemed like I was waiting forever. It was my first one and I needed to do well, and the stress of that at the back of my mind threw my confidence. The biggest aspects I feel affected me was knowing that soon I was able to go home. I realise now that looking back on my reflections in my graph, the aspects not about university work affect my confidence more than the stress of the coursework itself. Maslow plays a big part in the way I learn, and I will have to make sure that my basic needs are met in order for me to develop as a learner in higher education.